A good day to everyone. I am Ranzid Cruz and we are Group 4 here today to discuss a case study on environmental science and engineering for China. Let's begin by exploring China's population, geography, economy, and public health. Population trends in China. China still holds the title for the most populous country with over 1.4 billion people. That's nearly 1 in every 6 people on Earth. But the population trend is starting to change. For the first time in more than 6 decades, China's population shrank in 2022, making the start of a demographic shift. Several factors are behind this: fewer births, people choosing to marry later, the rising cost of living, and the long-term impact of the old one-child policy. At the same time, cities have grown fast. Just 20% of people lived in urban areas back in the 1980s. Now, it's close to 70%, showing how urban life has become the norm. But with the longer lifespans and fewer young people, China is also facing an aging population. By 2050, about a third of its citizens will be over 60 years old, raising big questions about healthcare, pensions, and the workforce. So China's geography and natural resources. China is the largest country on the planet, stretching across 9.6 million square kilometers and sharing its borders with 14 neighboring nations. Its geography is incredibly diverse because in the west you'll find the towering Himalayas and Mount Everest. To the north, the vast Gobi and Taklamakan deserts dominate the landscape. But if you head east, you'll find a fertile river valleys and deltas, nourished by the Yangtze and the Yellow rivers. This land also spans a wide range of climate zones, from tropical regions in the south to subarctic areas in the north, supporting rich ecosystems and biodiversity. Beneath all this lies a wealth of natural resources, including coal, petroleum, iron ore, and rare earth elements, along with enormous hydropower potential. We are now going to talk about the economic growth and global perception of China. China stands as a global economic powerhouse with a $17.7 trillion GDP in 2023, ranking first by purchasing power and second by nominal value. Its transformation is striking since the economic reforms of 1978. China has shifted from an agrarian economy to a manufacturing and trade giant. Today, it's a leading exporter of electronics, textiles, and machinery, driving much of the world's supply chain. But it's not without its challenges. Rising debt, an aging workforce, a shaky real estate sector, and ongoing geopolitical tensions all poses as risks. Globally, reactions are mixed. While developing countries often welcome Chinese investments, many Western nations remain cautious about Beijing's growing influence. Human health and environmental concerns. Air pollution remains a serious concern in many Chinese cities. Places like Aksu and Xingtai often records air quality index or AQI levels of 170, which is considered unhealthy. Among the most polluted cities are Xingjiaoshu and Handan, while Daozu and Huangshan and Nanchon stand out as some of the cleanest with AQI readings below 25. Urban growth has brought better healthcare and infrastructure, but it comes with a trade-off: more pollution. With dense populations and heavy fossil fuel use, millions are exposed to air-related health risks, especially in industrial and high-traffic zones. So for the research objectives. For this study, we focused on 3 main objectives. First, we looked into the current state of China's environment and how it's being governed. Then, we identified the key activities that are causing major environmental problems, especially those affecting both ecosystem and public health. Finally, we came up with recommendations and actions that could help address the existing gaps in environmental health and management. So that is all for my part. Up next is a reporter from my group that will further discuss the case study.
Good day, my name is Gabriel B. Garcia and I will be discussing the description portion of the case study. So, China's rapid industrialization has come at a significant environmental cost, with nearly 20% of its arable land contaminated by heavy metals. threatening food security and ecosystem health. Urban areas face severe air pollution with PM2.5 levels frequently exceeding the WHO guidelines, further stressing plant and animal life. Moving on to the country's wildlife, it is under immense pressure with over 1,300 vertebrate species at risk, including the critically endangered Siberian tiger and Yangtze River dolphin. Habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change have accelerated. Yet China has responded with ambitious conservation measures. Artificial breeding programs have revived species like the crested ibis, and AI-driven monitoring systems now protect 85% of panda habitats. To the China's ecosystem, from the Lashiang Jijia forest to the Gobi Desert are under strain, with 60% of land degraded due to urbanization, deforestation, and desertification. The consequences are dire. Millions face water shortages, toxic soil renders farmland unusable, and coastal flooding worsen as mangroves disappear. For the next part is the status of environmental pollution. Air pollution still remains critical threat, with PM2.5 levels still dangerously high as mentioned from the previous portion. In cities like Beijing and Shanghai, there's a 35% reduction in particulate matter since 2013, thanks to the policy like the Blue Sky Protection Campaign. Over 2 million deaths annually are linked to poor air quality. The government is pushing cleaner energy and real-time air monitoring, but industrial growth and rising ozone levels keep the crisis urgent. Water pollution tells a similar story. While 90% of surface water now meets national standards, groundwater, a vital drinking source, remains in crisis, with only 13.6% deemed safe. The Water 10 plant has shut down 100,000 polluting factories and boosted wastewater treatment to 95% in cities. Beneath our feet, the soil crisis deepens. Heavy metals like cadmium and lead poison 10% of the farmland, tainting food supplies and causing health disasters like the Itay-Itay disease. And then there's the invisible menace, the noise. From roaring highways to midnight construction, 30% of urban residents face chronic sleep disruption. Cities are fighting back with quiet zones and smart sensors, but enforcement lags behind paid urbanization. China's response is scaling up. From sponge cities to AI-driven conservation, the world's largest emitter is also becoming a lab for solutions. The question remains, can innovation outspace pollution for millions breathing toxic air, drinking unsafe water, and living on uncontaminated land? The answer can come soon enough.
Hi, I'm Brian Chars, Relucio, and I'm going to discuss the major activities causing environmental pollution with an impact on human health. So first, air pollution and quality pollution. China faces severe environmental pollution from multiple sources. The main manufacturing sector and coal-based power plants emit large amounts of harmful pollutants like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and PM2.5, causing smog and serious health issues. Growing car ownership has worsened urban air quality, especially in traffic-heavy areas, affecting children's health. Next is water pollution. Industrial wastewater pollutes major rivers with toxic chemicals, harming ecosystem and human health. Many rural communities still lack safe drinking water. Next is soil pollution. About 20% of China's farmland is contaminated with heavy metals from industrial waste and pesticides. Polluted crops pose serious health risks, and cleanup is costly and slow. Next is waste management and plastic pollution. Rapid consumer growth has overwhelmed waste systems. Improper plastic disposal and incineration contribute to land, water, and air pollution. Plastic bans show progress, but enforcement is inconsistent. Next, I will discuss the key agencies involved in environment and health concerns. First, air pollution. Ministry of Ecology and Environment monitors air quality, sets national emission standards, enforces air pollution control measures. Next is China Meteorological Administration, tracks air quality and weather patterns, and issues smoke forecasts. Next, water pollution. Ministry of Ecology and Environment regulates pollutant discharge into rivers and lake, manage water treatment policies, enforces water pollution controls. Next agency is Ministry of Water Resources or MWR. Oversees water conservation and allocation, maintains water quality in river basins. Agency in soil pollution. First is Ministry of Natural Resources. Oversees land use plastic, handles remediation of contaminated soil. Next agency is Ministry of Ecology and Environment. Conducts national soil pollution surveys. Sets and enforces soil contamination standard. Next, the agency in noise pollution. First is Ministry of Ecology and Environment. Sets environmental noise limits, regulates noise in urban and industrial areas. Next, Ministry of Public Security enforces noise control in public areas, regulates vehicle noise through traffic enforcement. Agency in solid waste pollution. First is Ministry of Ecology and Environment. Manages hazardous waste, enforces waste classification and recycling regulations. Next is Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development. Oversees urban sanitation systems, manages waste collection in the cities. Next, Agency in Marine Pollution. First is Ministry of Transport and State Oceanic Administration. They controls waste discharge at sea, regulates pollution from ships, oversees coastal environmental management. Agencies in chemical pollution. First is Ministry of Emergency Management. The response to chemical spills and industrial accidents. Next is Ministry of Ecology and Environment. They register chemicals, manage environment risks, and issues pollution permits. That's all for the agencies involved in environment and health concerns. Next is Enrico Marcelo. Thank you.
Good day, I am Enrico Marcelo. China's rapid industrialization has come with significant environmental costs. Today, I'll examine the government's response to these challenges, analyzing key policies, their implementation, and tangible outcomes. We'll explore both success and areas needing improvement in China's environmental governance framework. The turning point came in 2013 with the Air Pollution Action Plan, followed by progressively stricter regulations. Notably, Beijing achieved a 33% PM2.5 reduction within just 4 years, while industrial compliance rates jumped dramatically. The government implemented innovative enforcement measures, including unprecedented daily fines and high-tech monitoring. Currently, over 15,000 key enterprises are under constant surveillance, a system that has dramatically improved compliance rates. The intensive Blue Sky campaign specifically targeted northern industrial hubs, implementing temporary production halts and large-scale fuel switching. The results? A quarter less PM2.5 and significantly fewer red alert smog days. These unprecedented inspections revealed systemic non-compliance, leading to massive fines and official sanctions. Shockingly, initial inspections found 70% of Yangtze River enterprises breaking discharge rules. Water protection efforts have been equally aggressive, including the massive relocation of riverside industries. Water quality has improved substantially, but groundwater contamination remains stubborn. While policies have transformed urban air quality, significant gaps remain, especially in rural enforcement and groundwater management. Despite massive investments, coal still dominates China's energy system at 56%. Now, we move on to Mr. Clarence.
I'm Clarence Dicimulacion, and for the recommendation, to address its environmental challenges, China should adopt a mix of advanced technologies and strategic management approaches. Implementing smart environmental monitoring systems using IoT and big data can help detect pollution in real time, and enable proactive responses. Industry should shift to cleaner production methods and invest in waste to energy technologies to reduce emissions and landfill use. Waste management must improve through circular economy practices and modern treatment facilities for hazardous waste. Strengthening regulations, enforcing compliance, and offering incentives for sustainable practices will enhance accountability. Public management is also vital, with community involvement in monitoring and education campaigns to promote environmental awareness. Combined efforts can build a sustainable, resilient environmental management system for China. And that's for our recommendation. And for the conclusion, China's rapid industrialization and urbanization have led to serious environmental issues, including air, water, soil, and noise pollution, which pose a major health and ecological risk. Despite government efforts, enforcement of environmental policies remains inconsistent due to economic pressures and complex pollution sources. Urban areas continue to suffer from pollution and problems like groundwater and soil contamination, which requires comprehensive solution. Addressing these challenges demands advanced technologies in stronger regulations and active public participation. Smart monitoring, green technologies, and circular economy practices can drive sustainable progress. Collaboration among government, industry, and communities is vital. Ultimately, balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability is key to protecting public health and ensuring a livable future. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you.